Hi everyone, it's Narelle here from the Cricut Explore Maker and More Facebook group, and today I wanted to show you how I create what's called a side edge card. A couple of months ago, one of the members of my Facebook group, a lady by the name of Tamara, who's a Cricut ambassador from the Netherlands, shared a side edge card that she had made. So I'm just going to quickly go in and show you that one. So here's the card that Tamara shared in our group. She also shared a video showing how to create this style of card, and I'm going to link to her video below so that you can see how she does it. Now, I do it a little bit different, which is why I'm doing this video, but I've just found a way that makes it a little bit quicker for me, but you might actually like the way Tamara does it better, so that's why I'm going to link to that video down below. So thank you, Tamara, for sharing your card and your video with the group. So then if you go and have a look in my group, you'll see we have an album that has a lot of side edge cards that have been created. Deanne Bell, who's one of my group admins, has shared a lot of different side edge cards, and she's also made a lot of cards that members have requested. So thank you to Deanne for doing that. I've also created some and shared those, and I'll show you where to find all of these cards at the end of this video. So I'm going to go over to Design Space and we'll get started creating some side edge cards ourselves. So for this style of card, I make my card base a 5-inch square. So I start with a rectangle that is 10 inches wide by 5 inches tall. Then when it's folded, it makes your 5 by 5 card. Now, not all images are going to work for the side edge card. What you need to make sure is that the image that you're using is taller than it's wide. So I've picked a few different images and I'm going to show you which ones will work and which ones won't. So there are the images that I've picked, and we'll start over here with this gnome house. So if I click on that one, you can see that it's 4.22 inches tall, but 4.5 inches wide. So that means it's wider than it is tall. My card is going to be 5 inches tall, so that means my image will also be 5 inches tall. If I change this to 5 inches tall, you can see that now it's 5.333 inches wide, which is going to be wider than the actual card base. So you can see when I move that over here, this image is now wider than the card base, and you can see up the middle here is that score line indicating that that's where that card will fold. So that image isn't necessarily a great one for creating a side edge card. Spider-Man has the same problem. So if I change him to 5 inches tall, he's over 6 inches in width. So again, if I put that over there, you can see that he's now also wider than that 5-inch point. So that's another one that won't work. The rest of these will possibly work. Now, this one here, whilst it is wider than it is tall, if I go and change the height of that to 5, you can see it's still over the 5-inch measurement in width. But this is an image that could possibly be altered by turning or unlocking that little lock there and resizing just the width. Now, not all images are going to work this way, because when you change the proportions of some images, they don't look as good as what they should. So in this case, this A would be okay by shrinking it just that bit. So when I go and then lock that back and change our height to 5, the A still looks pretty good. So that is an image that I could use, but only by changing the proportions. If I did that to Spider-Man, unlocked that and then made him change the width, you can see that he kind of doesn't look that great. So again, Spider-Man is not an image that I would use for this style of card. So let's go get rid of him. If we change the proportions on this one, bring him in a little bit wider so that it's taller than it is wide, this image here could actually still be used. So this is a possible image, but not without changing the proportions. So let's go and get rid of that one. Now this image here, we might get rid of this one here too. This image here is okay because it's taller than it is wide. Let's go and change that to 5 inches tall, and we bring that over on the card. You can see that it's not as wide as the card. That one's okay. The only problem is that once we create our side edge, we're going to be removing all of this section here. So that means that it's going to be standing just on this part here. So have a look at the image and make sure that it's, once you've created the card, that it's going to stand up properly. If that doesn't worry you, whether it's not a card that you think anyone will stand up to display, then it really doesn't matter if it won't stand. So this image here is definitely an image that you could use, keeping in mind that it might not be stable. So we'll get rid of that one. And then these two, which are the images that I'm going to use to create my cards, are perfect. So it's taller than it is wide, and so is the bunch of flowers. So what I'm going to do is we'll start with the ice cream cone. So I'm going to move this one out of the way, and then I'm going to hide it. And now all I've got left here is my ice cream and my card base. Now the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to change the height of my image, and I'm going to change that to 4.5. The reason I'm using 4.5 is because I'm going to create 2 offsets around this image, so 2 shadow layers. The first shadow layer is going to be 0.125 inches taller than this image, which will make my shadow 4.75, and then I'm going to do another offset on that one, which will give me a finish size of 5, and you'll see what I mean when I go ahead and do this. So I've changed my image to 4.5 inches tall, and I'm now going to go and create my offset. So I go up here to offset, and I'm going to change that size to 0.125 and press tab, and you can see down here there's what the offset is going to look like. And if I'm happy with that, then I click apply. So there's my first offset, and you can see that the measurement of that is 4.75 inches. I'm going to, while that's selected, select offset again, and I'm going to create another offset layer of the same size, which will then give me a finish size of 5 inches. So there it is there. So I've got my original image, which is 4.5, my first shadow, which is 4.75 tall, and my final shadow, which is 5 inches tall. And this final offset shadow that we're going to use to create our side edge portion of the card. So let's move these guys out of the way, and we'll start with this one. Now you can see that I've got some open areas in these images. The easiest way to go and get rid of that is to go down here to contour, and then you can hide all those pieces that are inside. So that's what I'm going to do with this one. So I'm going to click hide all contours, and what that does is hides everything except the outside. And now you can see that all those open areas have gone. I can take this one and then do exactly the same thing. Select hide all contours. It hides everything except the outside. Right, so now the first thing, or the next thing that we need to do is create this shaped side on our card, which is where the name side edge card comes from. So we're creating the side edge of this card to be shaped the same as our image. So you can see that I've got my 10 by 5 rectangle here, and I'm going to be slicing this ice cream layer out of the side of this card. So I have to make sure that my score line here isn't attached, otherwise my slicing won't work. So I'm actually just going to move that out of the way because I don't need it for this next step. So now what I need to do is I'm going to slice this ice cream cone out of the edge of this card. So how do I do that? It's very easy. I'm going to select both of these images, and then I'm going to go align right. So now it's lined up with the right hand side of the card, and then I'm going to go align bottom. Now you can either go, because the ice cream cone is the same height as the card, whether you went align bottom, center vertically, or align top, it wouldn't make any difference. Just out of habit, I always just go align bottom. So now you can see that it's aligned at the right and it's aligned at the bottom, but it also by default is aligned at the top. So with that now in place, I'm going to go down to the bottom of the layers panel and select slice. Now you can't see that anything has actually changed, but if you go over to the layers panel, you can now see that I've got 3 layers. So I've got this layer here, which was my original image that I sliced out of the rectangle. I've got this image here, which is the rectangle with the ice cream cone shape sliced out of it. And then I've got this piece here, which is the ice cream cone that has been sliced out. Now we're not going to be needing both of these layers, but for now I'm just going to hide that original piece there, and I'm also going to hide this sliced ice cream cone so that you can see this layer here. So this is what we're now going to work with. And what I want to do is, you can see that from slicing it, it's given me these 2 extra pieces on the side here, and I'm going to remove those using the hide contour. So I'm going to select that layer, and then I'll go down to the bottom again and select contour. And now what I want to do is remove these 2 pieces. Now I want to keep this piece, obviously, so I'm going to click this one and I'm going to click this one, and you can see that they are now hidden. If they're dark on this side, it means they're hidden. And then I'm going to go back to my mat, and now there's that funny shaped side edge of the card. Now the next thing I need to do is I need to go back to my layers panel, and I'm going to select one of these 2 sliced out layers. So that my card base stays the same color, I'm going to go with this white one. So I'm going to show that, and you can see that because I haven't moved anything, and that's very important that you don't go and move any of this while you're doing this process. Everything is in the correct place, and that all I need to do now is I'll select those 2 layers and go and click weld. And now I've got my shaped card. I can bring my score line back up here, and all I need to do is select both of those and click align and center. Now it's hidden behind there, so I can just bring this one to the top, send front, and you can see that my score line is now centered within that 10-inch shaped card. So that's how you make your base layer for a shaped card that is shaped just on one side. Later in the video, when I do my next card, I'm going to show you how to make a side edge card that is shaped front and back. But for now, we're just doing the one side. So when this card is folded, the front will be shaped and the back will just have that nice neat square. So now that we've got that, you can see that I've still got these 2 layers. So if I bring this one to the front, I'm going to put that one there, and you can see that that would be my next shadow layer, and then this would then go and sit on front of that, and that's what your finished card would look like. Now I like to finish it off just a little bit more by taking this layer and giving it that nice neat straight edge on the left as well, like it does on the front. So to do that, that's very easy. We are going to look at the size that this ice cream cone layer is, which is 4.7 in height, and I'm going to create another square that it's the same size. So we'll change this to 4.75. And when I share my cards, I share the different options, because some people will prefer just this kind of look, and some people will prefer the other look. So I save them with both. So to do that, I just duplicate this so that I've got that to keep for later, and then I'll work on this piece here. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do exactly the same as what I did for this one up here. I'm going to select both of these layers. Now, it doesn't matter that in this case the ice cream cone shape is behind the square. It doesn't matter, it still works. So I just need to select both, and we do the align again. So we go align right and align bottom, and then we go and slice again. So exactly the same thing has happened. We've got our two ice cream cone shapes here, and then that piece there, which is what's left over. We hide both of these. We go to this one and select contour. Zoom out so you can see, and again we're going to select these two pieces to hide. Now, because it defaulted to this piece here being hidden, it won't let me hide this third piece. So that means I have to go and click on this one to show it, so that I can then go and click on this one to hide it. There we go. So there's our weird, funky little shape again. We'll go back over here and unhide one of these pieces. We select both of them, making sure we haven't moved anything, and we click weld. So now I've got a piece that matches the shape of the base card, but it's 1/4 of an inch smaller. Bring our ice cream over the top. And there you go. So let's go and just change the colour of this. We might go with, say, a red behind there. And then that's what our finished card would look like. So there's the front of your side edge card with the nice shape on the side. And then to finish off those cards, all you need to do, or what I do, is I just create a couple of squares that will go on the inside of your card. So I'll do 2 squares. One is going to be 4.75 in height, which is 1/4 of an inch smaller than our card, and we'll make this the same color as that. And then this one I'll make white so that you can write on it or stamp a sentiment or whatever you want to do with your card, and it's going to be another 1/4 of an inch smaller again, so it'll be 4.5. So now these are the 2 layers that will go on the inside of your card. Okay, and then you've got this one here, which if I change that to red as well, is the other option you've got if you don't want this one. Okay, so either way, you've now got 2 options there of how you want the front of your card to look. So that was the ice cream cone. So hopefully you found that pretty easy to do. If you don't want to see how to make the double-sided side edge card, then feel free to finish the video and go and play with Design Space and see if you can create some yourself. I'm just going to group all of these. You will find in the layers panel that there are pieces that you don't need anymore, so and they're currently hidden here. So what I'll do is I'll go and delete that layer there, and what else have I got hidden? I've got this one as well, so I'll go and delete that. Don't forget to go and attach your score line to the card base. So we'll take that and go down here and attach, which pushes the other image to the back. So we'll take this one and we'll go sender back, and there you go, finished card. Okay, so let's go and group all of that. And I'll just minimize all of that, and then I'm going to go and hide that and open up the flower. Okay, so now we're going to make the flower card, and in this one we're going to make it a double-sided side edge card. So we do this one in pretty much the same way with just a small little difference. So we'll make this 4.5 inches in height, the same as we did with the previous card, and then we'll go and make our 2 offsets. So we'll go offset 0.125 for our first one, and then we'll do that again and go 0.125, and there's our final shadow. On this image, for some reason, it changes it to 4.999. So all I do in that case is just go and change all of that to 5. So there's our image with its 2 offset shadows. Now I'm going to go and make my card base. This time, instead of making it a 10 by 5 rectangle, I'm just going to make it a 5 by 5 square. So there's that one, and let's go and make that white. So this is the start of my card base. I'm going to take my first shadow. Let's go and fill in all of these empty spaces. So we'll hide all contours, do the same here, hide all contours. We'll take our 5-inch shape. We'll do exactly the same steps as we did before. We go align right, align bottom, and then slice. We'll go over here. This is the image that we want to work with. These two we don't want for now. So we'll go to this one, go contour, and then we need to hide the pieces on the right hand side. And you can see that there's also this tiny little piece here in the bottom. So we want to keep this one, but we want to hide these 3 pieces. So there's that shape again. Now go back over here to the layers panel, open up the eye on one of the pieces that was sliced out, select both of those and click weld. So now we've got a 5-inch shaped side edge card, but all we need to do to make that a double-sided one is we'll now just go over to the top of the layers panel, go duplicate, and then we'll flip this one horizontally, and now we've got these 2 pieces there. We will align those at the top, and we'll just move all of this over to 0, and that means that I can then select this one and move it to the 5-inch mark. And by doing that, they are aligned side by side, and if I select both of those, I should have a 10 by 5 card. So I just weld these 2 pieces together, and now I've got a double-sided side edge card. Again, we can put our score line in there, make that 5 inches tall, and select both of those and align center. And then let's go and select both of those. Now I'm not sure if this happens to you, but if you select your 2 layers from the canvas and then go and attach, sometimes that score line will be moved to the back. So we'll see if it happens this time. We'll go attach, which it didn't, but sometimes it does. That score line will go and be pushed behind. So to fix that problem, if you ever have that, let's undo that. I'll select both of these again, go align center. Just make sure you go over to the layers panel and select your layers from there instead of dragging your mouse around them here. So let's attach that. So now there's our double-sided side edge card. Here's our next piece that goes on the front, and then our flowers that go right on front of that one. So again, we can make this piece here with the nice straight edge on the left by, again, we'll duplicate this piece so we've got that for later. And this time we're going to create a square that's going to be 4.75 inches tall, which is the same as this piece. We select both of these, align right, and then align bottom. We go slice, remembering not to move anything. Hide our little these layers here so that we're left with just this piece here. We select that one, go to contour, and hide those pieces again. So we want to keep that one and then hide these three. Show one of these, select them both and click weld. And there you go. So let's change that one to maybe a green, and then that one could also be green. And then we've got this piece which is going to go right on top. So there's your two options there. So you've got that one with just the offset shadow around it, or this piece here which is the offset shadow with the straight edge. So again, whichever you prefer. I tend to go with this one the most because I put this piece here through my embossing machine and emboss that with one of the embossing folders that I've got. I just like the finished look that that gives it. So there you go. Then all you need to do again is go and add your two squares for your inside pieces, making that one 4.75 and this one 4.5, and it would be white so that you can write on it or stamp on it, and then this one would be whatever colour cardstock you want to cut that out of. So that would be the inside of my card. So the only other thing that I want to show you is the option of making this image here a printable image. So for images like this that are going to have lots of little pieces, and if you look over in the layers panel, there are a lot of little pieces there. Some of them are pen work, and some of them are pieces that you'll have to cut out and then place individually. I don't like that. That's just too fiddly for me in some images if it's all little tiny pieces. So what I will do in that case is that I will make this image a print then cut image. So to do that, it's very easy. You can use either of these pieces here that you've created to do this. So what I'll do is I'll use this one here. Let's just duplicate that so we've got that to save for later, and then you decide what color you want this to be printed out on. Generally I change that to white, but you can leave it at green and it will print out green if you want to, but I'm just going to go and change that one to white. Remember, printers don't see, or they can't print white, so when you finish this it will print out the flowers, but then it will just cut around the outside. So let's go and position this on here, and what I can do is I can align that centered vertically so that I know that it's correct top and bottom, and then just eyeball how close I want it to the edge. Once I've done that, I select both. I probably need a duplicate of this one to put back up here. Select both of these and then go over to the bottom of the layers panel and click flatten. So now this image here is now a print and cut image. So again, you'll send, when you click make it, you'll have to print this out. It'll print out the flowers. Then when you put that into your Cricut, it will cut just around that white area. So it won't cut out all the flowers. It'll just cut that white area there. Okay, so that's a print and cut version of your side edge card. So hopefully that was helpful. If you have any questions, please feel free to comment below or come over to the group Cricut Explore Maker and More and reach out to me there, and I'll be happy to help you. So as I said at the start, I will show you how to find the side edge cards that have been shared in our group. So let's quickly go over to here. So you can see that album here, but to find that album, if you go to the group, you can click on media. If you're using a smaller screen, you may not have all of these menus. So if you don't, look for a menu that says more, and then click on more and then select media. and then albums, and then there are all the albums that have been shared in this group, and here is the side edge cards here. In this envelopes album, you'll find an envelope that fits the 5x5 side edge cards. So let's go and have a look at the side edge cards again. So if you scroll through here, you'll see all the ones that have been shared so far. And so you've got lots by Deanne, some by myself, and then you've got one here by Lydia, who's also an admin in the group. So go and check all of those out. You'll also find, let's go back to the albums. We have an album here called Members Projects. You will possibly find some side edge cards that have been shared by members of the group in that album. And then you can also just go up to the search feature and type in side edge cards, and you'll find all the posts in the group that have side edge cards in the title or the description, and you can go and look for any of those. So if they're ones that have been shared by us, you'll find the link, but you'll also find plenty in there that other people have also created, and that hopefully will also give you some ideas of what you can use. So I hope that you enjoyed this video. As I said, please reach out if you're having any problems. I'd love to see what you make, so if you do make some, please come and post them in the group, and if you feel like you want to share the link to that, even better. So again, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.